Hello, and welcome to SteadyStep English. I am so happy you are here with us today.
Hello, everyone. I am really looking forward to our discussion.
Today, we are going to take a deep breath, slow down, and learn about the future of work together.
Right.
I want you to use your imagination for a moment. Imagine that it is the year 2026.
Okay, 2026. That's not very far away at all.
Exactly. But in the world of technology, a few years can feel like a very long time.
It's true.
And today, we are exploring a new time in history. We are entering what some are calling the agentic era.
The agentic era. That's
Yeah.
That's a new one for me. It sounds a little academic.
It does, doesn't it?
Can you maybe break down what agentic actually means in this context?
Of course. To understand agentic, let's first look at the past. For many years, artificial intelligence, or AI, was just a chatbot.
Right. I know chatbots. You type a question, and then the computer gives you an answer on the screen.
Exactly. It's like sending a text message to a very smart encyclopedia.
A good way to put it.
Yeah.
It was passive. It waited for you.
Yes. But in the agentic era, the AI changes completely. It doesn't just talk to you.
Oh, it does more.
It takes action. An agent is software that has the power to do work for you.
So the key difference is action. It's not just answering my questions anymore.
Not at all. It has the capability to execute tasks. I mean, it can go inside your email, it can open your calendar, it can use your other work tools.
Okay, I think I'm following. So
Yeah.
It's like the difference between a librarian and a personal assistant.
That's a great way to think about it. Yes. A librarian finds a book for you.
But a personal assistant might go get the book, read it, and then summarize it for me.
Precisely. Let's try to visualize this. Imagine a busy morning. You work from home.
Okay.
In the past, or maybe even today, you might sit down at your desk and just feel tired immediately.
I know that feeling very well.
And why? Because you have to spend 2 hours just on emails and trying to schedule meetings.
Oh, yes. It takes so long just to find a time when 5 people are free. It feels like a puzzle.
It is a puzzle. But now, in this agentic era, the workflow is different.
How so?
You sit down with your coffee. You give a simple instruction to the AI interface. You might say, plan my meetings for next week based on my project priorities.
And then what happens? Does it just give me a list of good times?
It goes much further. The agent starts the execution of your plan. It sends the emails
And my colleagues?
to your colleagues. It negotiates the times, it books the meetings in the calendar, and it does all of this in the background while you're doing other, more important work.
Wow. So the software handles all those small steps without me clicking anything.
Yes, that is the definition of this change. It's what we call the agentic shift.
I see. It's a shift from just talking to actually doing. But, I have to be practical here.
Sure.
This sounds great in theory, but what do these agents actually do in a normal, everyday job?
That's a fair question. Let's look at some really specific real-world examples. Think about someone who works in sales.
Yeah, a salesperson.
In the past, they wrote every email by hand, right? Now, a sales agent AI can draft follow-up emails.
Okay, that's helpful.
But it also logs them in the company system automatically. It updates the customer records for you.
That saves so much data entry time. What about organizing meetings? You mentioned that.
Right. It's a specific scheduling assistant. This agent can read your emails. It understands who needs to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Then it offers meeting times to everyone in the email thread. It sort of acts like a diplomat, finding the best time for everyone.
That is very helpful.
Yeah.
What about creative jobs? I usually think of AI as being good with numbers, not words or ideas.
Actually, marketing agents are becoming very popular. An agent can create the first draft of a post for social media.
Really?
Or write the first version of an email for a campaign.
So the human doesn't have to start with a blank page. That is often the hardest part, just starting.
Exactly. It removes that blank page fear. Let's do one more. Finance.
Okay.
A finance helper agent can look at a report with thousands of numbers. It doesn't just read them. It can flag or, mark any unusual number.
So it spots potential mistakes for you.
Yes. It helps the human see mistakes quickly. It acts like a second pair of eyes.
I'm noticing a key difference here in all of these examples.
What's that?
In the old days, the computer was a tool, like a hammer. You had to swing it.
Right.
Now, it seems like the computer is more like a worker.
That is a profound insight. It is acting. This is part of the workflow. It's not just a separate chat window on the side of your screen.
It's doing the work with you.
Yes.
I have to admit, this sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But it also makes me feel a little bit worried.
And I think that's a very common feeling. What are you worried about?
Well, if the computer can send emails and book meetings, And write reports.
And fix finance spreadsheets.
Right. Does this mean robots will take our jobs? It's a huge fear for a lot of people.
It is, and it's a very valid question. It's probably the most important question we need to answer today.
So what's the answer?
The answer is a very important concept. It's called human in the loop.
Human in the loop. That's an interesting phrase. What does it mean exactly?
It means that even when the AI acts, a human must stay involved. The human is in the loop or, in the circle of control.
So we don't just let the system run wild on its own.
Never. The human must check the work. The human must approve the key steps. This is why your judgment matters more than ever before.
I see. So the AI does the heavy lifting, maybe the boring digital work, but the human is still the boss.
Yes. Experts call this augmentation.
Augmentation.
To augment means to make something greater or better. The AI supports the worker, but the person keeps control.
Okay. Can we talk about some examples of this oversight? How does a human actually check the AI without just doing all the work themselves?
Absolutely. Let's look at customer support. The AI might write a reply to an angry customer, but before it sends the message, a human support worker reads it. They check the tone. They make sure it sounds friendly and, empathetic.
That is so important. A robot can sometimes sound very cold.
Exactly. Or think about a lawyer. An AI can produce a legal contract very quickly, but a human lawyer must check every single line. They have to make sure it's legally safe before it goes to a client.
Because if the AI makes a mistake in a contract, the consequences could be huge.
Correct. And think about journalists. A journalist can use AI to summarize a long story or interview notes, but the journalist writes the final story personally. They use their own voice, their own style.
What about teachers?
A teacher might use AI to create a list of practice questions, but the teacher, she selects only the best tasks for the class. She knows what her students need. The AI is only guessing.
So the human value is still there. It's not gone.
It is more than just there. It is essential. Human judgment is so valuable because we understand context. We understand emotion.
And ethics.
And most importantly, we understand ethics. An AI model doesn't have feelings. It doesn't know right from wrong. Only you do.
That makes me feel much better. It sounds more like a partnership than a replacement.
It is a partnership. And to understand this better, I want to share a story about a woman named Maria.
Who is Maria?
Maria is a manager from Brazil. She works for a large logistics company. Her story shows us how this change happens in real life, not just in theory.
Okay, I'm listening. What was Maria's problem?
Maria had a very difficult schedule. Every single Friday, she used to spend 4 hours working on weekly reports.
4 hours? That's half of a workday, just for one task.
Yes. She felt completely overwhelmed by all the data. She was tired of copy-pasting numbers from one sheet to another.
I can imagine.
She didn't have time to talk to her team because she was always doing paperwork.
That sounds really stressful. And honestly, it sounds like a waste of a manager's talent. So what was the solution?
Maria started using an agentic tool. This tool reads the updates from her team automatically. It looks at the numbers, and then it writes a draft report for her.
So Maria doesn't write the report anymore?
Well, not from zero. She is still very involved. She provides oversight.
She checks the work. Human in the loop.
Yes. She checks that the numbers are correct. She checks that the message is clear. But instead of 4 hours, the process now takes her about 30 minutes.
Wow. From 4 hours to 30 minutes. That's a massive difference. What's the result for her personally?
Now she has more time for deep thinking, for strategy. She has time to build her team culture. She can actually talk to her employees, mentor them.
And help them solve real problems.
Exactly. The AI didn't replace her. It actually allowed her to be a better manager.
No, it did the opposite. The takeaway here is really powerful.
It is. Maria is not redundant. She is more important than before. She's a leader, not a victim of this change.
That's inspiring. I think we all want to be more like Maria. But how can our listeners actually do this?
A very important question.
Most of us aren't technology experts. How can we apply this to our own work?
We need a strategy. And the advice is actually quite simple. Let agents handle the small, repeatable tasks.
Like the scheduling and labeling files.
Yes, let the AI do the boring work. But you must keep control of the big decisions. And you must keep control of client relationships.
I like that distinction. The human handles the relationships. The AI handles the data.
I like to use a metaphor here. You become the architect of execution.
The architect of execution. That sounds very professional. What does it mean?
Well, think about an architect who designs a building. The architect doesn't lay every brick with their own hands, right?
No, the construction workers do that.
Exactly. But the architect sets the goal. The architect designs the plan. In this new era, the AI does the steps. It lays the bricks, but the human sets the goal.
That is a very clear picture. It changes our role from being a doer to more of a designer.
Precisely. So I have a closing question for our listeners to think about.
Okay.
What task would you give your AI agent today? Think about a task you really hate doing. If you gave that task to an agent, you would have more time for human connection.
I would definitely give my agent the task of organizing my email inbox. It's always a mess. I would love more time to just talk to people.
That is a perfect example. Now, let's just slow down for a moment. We have covered a lot of big ideas today.
I have.
Let's summarize. We have moved from the era of simple chatbots to the agentic era. This means AI now takes action, like booking meetings or moving files.
Right.
However, we learned that human in the loop is essential for safety and quality. Finally, we remember Maria from Brazil, whose story shows that automation creates more time for leadership and strategy.
That was a great summary. It really helps to hear the main points again.
Now it is time for our vocabulary word tour.
We have chosen 10 key words from today's session to help you speak about the future of work.
We will give you the word, a simple definition, and one example sentence.
Are you ready? Let's begin.
Number 1, automation.
Automation is software handling small, repeatable steps.
Example. Firms use automation for sending reminders.
Number 2, agentic.
Agentic means a system that takes action, not just talks.
Example, the agentic tool booked my meeting.
Number 3, interface.
The interface is the space where you and the AI meet.
Example. A clear interface makes it easy to see the plan.
Number 4, oversight.
Oversight means watching work to check it is correct.
Example, managers give oversight by approving final actions.
Number 5, capability.
Capability is the ability to do something.
Example, the AI has the capability to read emails.
Number 6, integration.
Integration is when tools connect smoothly.
Example, good integration means the agent fits your workflow.
Number 7, execution.
Execution is the process of turning a plan into action.
Example, AI supports execution by logging updates.
Number 8, redundant.
Redundant means no longer needed because of a new method.
Example, simple tasks became redundant, but my job is safe.
Number 9, collaborative.
Collaborative means working together to reach a goal.
Example, human in the loop supports a collaborative style.
And number 10, streamline.
To streamline means to make a process simpler and faster.
Example, we streamline work by letting AI handle scheduling.
That's it for today. Remember, every minute you spend listening is a step closer to fluency. If you enjoyed this lesson, please subscribe and join our learning community. Before you go, I have a challenge for you. Write one new word you learned today in the comment field below. I will see you at our next episode at SteadyStep English.